Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm posting on Instagram.
What are you posting?
My view.
Ooh, I like that one. Black and white.
You want me to tag you so
Look
you
at
can
the-
share it?
No, you don't have to.
I'll tag you.
Keep the glory. This is Byron Lazine and Nicole White, and you are tuned in to episode 52 of The Real Word. Word is up.
Word up. Maybe it's the lights.
That's going to make you sneeze, the lights?
Yeah.
Wow.
We're here.
It's an interesting sense to see a light and sneeze and smell.
I'm also like sick, but I think it's now the light is like making my
All right, well, then we're going to do, if you're sick, we're going to do this really fast.
No, we're
Today's main topic is a DM from JD Manning, who's a friend of the show.
Mm-hmm.
He's chimed in a bunch in the past. We appreciate your support, JD. Let's put his IG handle and a screenshot of what he sent. And basically, there's no link, so if you're looking for a link on the main topic, there won't be a link out to an article. This is JD's experience.
How many people do you think click the links?
We're getting, we know how many people. There's actually quite a bit.
Yeah, people are like wanting to know more.
I would say about 20 people per
I don't
article.
know. So I can't decide if it's like, so does that mean we're not
I don't know
doing
if
our
20 is
job?
maybe not a
or
lot.
are we like pushing them there? They want to
Listen,
know more?
No, I think it's interesting where it's like if I'm going to watch this show, Nicole, which I hope everybody's enjoying watching it or listening, however you're doing it.
Well, hopefully they haven't had a good Thanksgiving.
If they want to dig deeper on that topic and
Yeah.
kind of get the whole thing, they have the opportunity to do that. If they don't, they just kind of breeze through. I think it's a little option
it's
there.
great. Maybe
And
more
everything's getting linked, by the way.
except this.
Especially on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, that's definitely where the links are living in the description. All right. So this has no link, though. It's his experience, Scottsdale, Arizona, twice in a week time frame. He had buyer agents reach out to him where the buyer wanted to lease the property with option to purchase in 6 months. So he's got the listing on this property, and people want to buy it after or have an option to buy it. They want to have a lease option, but they want to go out and in those 6 months lease it on Airbnb.
So they're disclosing that up front?
Yes. Because how else would it? Yeah.
Yeah.
They are disclosing that up front. So his sellers are like, well, how do we know he's not just going to, siphon in some rental money off the 6 months and then bail on this contract and not purchase?
Yeah. So I hate, and I think we were talking about it before, I don't like lease to purchases. I feel like I get calls on properties all the time. Hey, I see that this house has been in the market forever. Is your seller willing to lease with an option?
Is your seller willing to rent?
Yeah. Just but maybe I'll buy it. And I'm like, first of all, like I know you're not gonna buy it,
right?
Because if you were gonna buy it, you'd be attempting to buy it. You're just saying that because you feel like that would be more of an incentive to the seller. And unfortunately, sellers do kind of like fall into that trap of like, oh, cool, maybe they will buy. They're not buying.
They start to daydream. Very seldom do I ever suggest to a seller accept a lease to purchase or even entertain it. What is the benefit to you as the owner? You've just given the leverage to the tenant. They have the option. They're on I would love to have options on anything that I lease because if the market changes and I have an option at a good price, I'll exercise my option.
So
taking the leverage away.
Yeah, I think the only time that I would really ever do it is if a buyer all of a sudden they were in a situation where they all of a sudden kind of had to rent it because they couldn't get financing or something.
Big non-refundable deposits is when it makes sense.
That's the big, at that point, I 100% get an attorney involved. I've never drafted a rent to buy because there's so many like percentages of rent that go towards.
Yeah, you're not going standard board form.
And if I represented the seller, I would make them do a home inspection too. Like they have to start investing some money on the front end in order for it all to make sense.
In JD's case where he's had this recently, right now.
I think it's very interesting though.
This could be December 2018 when you're listening to this or watching this. It could be much later, obviously. But if it's right now when we're releasing at the very end of November 2018 and he just got hit up within the last month, you're coming into a 6-month period where people want to be in Scottsdale, Arizona. People want to be in these warmer climate states where they can go bail on northeast or northern states and go down for the winter. So if I'm somebody who's savvy and looking at that, maybe I do want to just grab it for 6 months and not do the purchase. So to the sellers, what they're worrying about, I totally get that.
So maybe then what the strategy becomes is maybe the seller gets involved in it as well, right?
Gets the upside on the Airbnbs.
Yeah, maybe you're maybe you say, sure, my seller's willing to do it, but like a percentage. I mean, someone's gonna have to outfit the property though too. I mean, who's buying the furniture for it? But I mean, in all honesty, if I was the seller and I had a house sitting there, I would 100% sit down with that person and be like, well, what's in it for me?
And I'd be like, that's a great point, because I think you could take it another level with that.
Yeah.
You could say to the buyer, listen, you're saying you want the option to purchase, and you're being upfront. You're telling me you're going to do the Airbnb thing, and maybe you're just trying to see if this is a really good Airbnb market.
Right.
How about this? If you hit these certain numbers in the 6 months, the purchase is the deposit becomes non-refundable.
Right.
Right. Like, you have to now move forward with the purchase, because now I know you're not bullshit. You're not just trying to soak up the best 6 months of the rental market.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, in all honesty, though, too, as a seller, I mean, instead, because there has to obviously be. I feel like you would need some sort of percentage in it also, just because, God forbid,
there's more wear and tear. It's
so
more
much
frequent
and
in and
those people
out.
don't give two hoots about your house or your stuff or anything. And then your neighbors are getting pissed off because there's like cars coming and going. So there needs to be an upside. So I think there's a way you could play on that. But it's regardless, it's very interesting.
When we Airbnb in wine country the last couple of years.
I heard you were a little bit of. I heard you caused a ruckus.
No, we didn't cause a ruckus.
You did.
That's a
I heard
racket.
I heard you caused a ruckus.
I did not cause a ruckus.
I heard you really.
I do notice though, like if there's a sign, please take your shoes off in an Airbnb rental, I find myself wearing my shoes more often than I ever would. Okay, I start wearing them as slippers. So,
Heard it here first, folks.
I do think there's going to be a level of more wear and tear. If somebody's Airbnb something for 3 to 4 to 5 days, there's probably an increase in alcohol intake than their normal life.
Well, but again, I don't know what these homes are. I mean, it's also very interesting though too, because I would because in my I feel like with rentals though too, even if it's not an Airbnb,
there's a lot of kids, there's a lot of use.
Well, you also maybe like you push the price a little bit more if you are looking to get a certain, I don't know. Because again, young kids, if there's a group of them, aren't going to be spending, say like X amount, you know what I mean? Like sort of push it beyond where a group of like college kids would come in for the weekend for like $150
you gotta know you gotta understand who's gonna be renting these places out. All right, let's get into the rackets. That was a fun. JD, appreciate you sending that. If you want to send in anything, you can certainly DM either one of us or email.
Or maybe it's happening in other states. Like, let us know if it's happening in other states.
Absolutely. If you have this experience, please let us know. Drop it into the comments. Maybe JD will even find you in the comments and respond. That'd be super cool. All right, racket number 1. Nicole sent me this article.
Oh.
It's on Realtor Mag.
Realtor Mag.
It's on Realtor Mag, so we've got it linked up. Are architects to blame for obesity?
Hello. That's an actual headline. Can you?
No, the headline's a little different. I think I paraphrased. But the headline is, Report Architectural Design AIDS Obesity. Yeah. AIDS.
I mean, holy.
I'm gonna just be straight up. This is a total racket. Who wrote this? It's Daily News. It's from the Daily News.
I mean,
and then the report is from the nonprofit Trust of America's Health. This is so stupid. I don't know who Trust of America's Health is, but I would guess they're getting paid significant amounts of money or supported by food companies that don't want them to really talk about what the problem with obesity is, which is what's in our food. Like, why are they not talking about that? They're talking about architects on real estate. This is stupid. Research finds a link between built environments, all the human-made physical aspects of a community, and both physical activity and obesity, according to the report. They're saying nearly 40% of Americans are obese. Sure, get that. But they're saying 90% of people spend their time indoors. Dude, that has nothing to do with why people are obese. People were not obese, like they are in the last 50 to 100 years, 300, 400, 500 years ago. They weren't obese because they weren't eating what we eat today.
Right.
It's very, very simple. We're putting a lot of shit in our body over and over and over again, and it's stacking up. It has nothing to do with how often we are indoors and that there's not a design for physical activity. Most people that are 40% of the people that are obese, some of them might have some type of issue, not an issue, but physical constraint of why they're obese.
Right.
But there's certainly a percentage of them that are just choosing to sit indoors and stuff down Fritos and, that type of food.
Well, I just think it's interesting because now they get to blame the architect.
Not to beat up on Fritos, but Doritos or any of those, processed foods.
Yeah.
We're gonna beat up on architects?
Well,
stupid.
I think the article itself does have some good points. I just don't think that it's really up to an architect to aid people in losing weight. I mean, they were talking about, and I love stairways. I mean, they were talking about enhancing stairways, adding color to stairways, adding
more stairs.
Making more outdoor living space. I get it. I mean, that's just good. That's just good for the people. I think it's super interesting that the article is about the fact that architects are quasi responsible for the fact that people aren't getting up and moving in their homes because they weren't designed properly.
New York City, for example, has adopted active design guidelines urging the need for prominent placement of stairs.
Yeah.
To your point, ramps, blah, blah, blah.
I get it. I think it's a great idea, but holy hell. I mean,
this is a total racket. It's so
total racket.
Stupid. If you care about obesity and if the Trust of America's Health nonprofit, I don't know, if that nonprofit really cares about obesity, then attack the food that we're eating. You don't even have to exercise, and you certainly can stay inside 100% of your time. If you just were to eat very strict diets, very strict, cut everything out, far less people would be obese.
Right.
Stupid.
Totally that was a fun one, though. That was a fun one.
All right. Racket number 2. Baby boomer bathroom trend. There are certain types of bathrooms that baby boomers are looking for.
I feel like my nose is running. Do you see it running? It's running.
I don't see it running.
Okay.
No.
Good. Thanks.
Does anybody,
Thanks, Sam.
maybe if you see it, if you see Nicole's nose running, leave us a comment. For sure.
Well, you're just staring at me. I feel like you're
I was trying to see now if I can see this infamous run.
Anyway, so baby boomers, their bathroom trends.
The latest bathroom trend is accessibility.
Yep.
For baby boomers when they're looking at a bathroom layout. Accessibility. We know for sure baby boomers are overwhelmingly looking for more one-level living experiences.
I have to be honest, though. I've been in a lot of new developments, and I mean, you have too, and we work for them, whether they're 55 and over or not. I feel like the biggest trend now, though, is having, if not a master on the first floor, a lot of them are ranch-style designs, where I think that regardless of being a baby boomer or not, I get it for the baby boomers because they need to have accessibility into a shower. They're not stepping. I get it. But I think a lot of people that are building homes or moving into homes are looking for a purchase that's long term, right? 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. I actually really like it here. My friends are here. My kids are going to be raised here.
I agree.
I want to build something that when I turn 60, I don't have to then move. See, now you're wiping your nose. What is it?
I had an itch. Mine's not running. I had an itch.
God, okay. So I think regardless of being a baby boomer or not, I think that it's a huge trend, across the board.
I agree.
Yeah.
One level living is super rad. It's also very expensive to build. People don't realize that one level, if you're just going to build a 2,000 square foot house, one level ranch, as opposed to a 2,000 square foot colonial, for example.
Right, because their foundation size and all,
it's going to be more expensive to build. This is a House latest bathroom trends report. Baby boomers are ditching the tub and investing in accessible bathroom features such as a more open bathroom layout. I cannot tell you, and I'm certain that most agents have the same experience right now. You're going into a house that is the master bathroom. Maybe the house is 25 years old, so let's say 90s, right? And the master bathroom is huge. And there's 25% of it is taken up by this huge whirlpool spa-like tub. And
it's probably spitting out black mold anyway. You're not even using it anymore. Oh God,
they're so gross.
Yeah.
And every single homeowner's I have this amazing spa-like jacuzzi tub. They're really pumping it up. You let them go through their whole spiel about their master bathroom tub, and you're looking at it. It hasn't been used in 5 years at best.
Right.
You're looking at it.
Yeah.
And then you say to them, "Hey, how often do you use it?" "Oh no, we never use it. We never use it." But people love these, and you're like, "No, They don't love them. No buyer is asking us about master bedroom tubs, bathroom tubs anymore. These big jacuzzi tubs, people want them ripped out and have a bigger shower. Nobody has time for bathing.
Well, it's called bathing. It's called bathing, but
nobody is bathing anymore. I'm telling you that right now.
No one's ever bathed before.
I'm certain they have.
I do think, though, that in the same breath, even if we're not talking about masters, there are plenty of baby boomers that do come through homes, and they do want, even not a baby boomer, I think there needs to at least be a bath somewhere in the home, though. Maybe the guests.
If people are in that time frame of where they have grandkids or children of their own,
and most do.
That's where people are.
Even at 66 high, people want to be able to bathe maybe they're bathing
their dog.
Their dogs.
They're bathing their dogs a lot.
So yes.
I agree. There are use for the bathtubs, but not necessarily to take up 25% of your master bath anymore.
No.
And with these big jacuzzis that always, the ones from like the 90s and stuff, are always breaking.
Yeah, well, and they're also like they're shooting water through them. Like the new ones are better because at least it's air. So you're not like your lines aren't getting gross. I don't mind the soaking ones. The soaking one,
like
there's
a
some people that
soaking
really like.
Oh, some people will still draw a bath.
Oh, for sure. Multiple times a day. I have some friends that do it multiple times a day.
Drawing a bath multiple
times a day. Mm-hmm.
How do you have time to draw a bath multiple times? Mm-hmm. I can't even get through the drawing of the bath.
Well, I mean, it's sort of, yeah. Well, there's like a TV screen. You could probably work. I mean, would you work in a bath?
I would, yeah.
Yeah, see? So you haven't been introduced to the correct type of bath.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
I think I'm more like, if I want to, what are people bathing for? Is it reducing inflammation? That cryotherapy is pretty cool, but it only takes 3 minutes.
They're probably, maybe they're running from their children.
The bath. Taking a bath.
Yeah, door's locked.
Half a bottle of wine later.
I would totally do that if I could actually fit in my bath.
All right, racket number 3.
Yes.
So is that a racket? I think it's a total.
I think the article. Well, I think it's just totally obvious. I mean, I think it's just a trend.
All right.
Because I would love I don't want to step either, and I'm a healthy individual. Yeah. I'd rather just walk in.
The show's actually getting old now because now we're doing not old, but like we're getting old. We're getting updates on previous topics, right? We were talking about maybe doing the Brady Bunch update. Maybe we can do that next week.
Yes,
we'll do that next week.
We had many updates.
But this update was for the
Homie, now that the election's over.
For Senate. So company agrees. This Homie company, which we linked up in a previous episode, you can maybe put that in the description, Ness. The last episode where we talked about Homie for Senate. This is a discount brokerage, Homie.com, and the company has agreed to never run the fake political campaign again.
Well, in all honesty, though, they can't. Come on. You did it.
It's like
faux.
Fox.
No, it's faux.
Oh, it's faux. Huh. I'm the worst reader of all time. Like, I would have been literally, if I had read that headline.
It's okay. When I was a kid, there was a book I read, and his name was Sean. His name was Sean, S-E-A-N.
Yeah.
And when I was reading it as Cian, right?
Cian.
So when it was like a
How dumb are we?
I know, it was like a lunch, you would read a book and then you meet like during lunch, talk about the book, and everybody kept talking about this character Sean, and I was like,
did I get the
wrong book?
Did I take a wrong book out of the library?
Shit. I was like, wait, I thought that there was like, but where's Cian?
So
why is anyone talking about Cian?
Here's what's interesting about this update. So obviously that was an aggressive marketing campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was like, saw these signs. Who's Homie? Should I vote for them? Right? So you're confusing people. And basically they agreed not to do this because there was some voter confusion apparently.
Right.
And even the Arizona Attorney General
got involved.
He got involved and basically made sure that this stopped. And part of the agreement from Homie was that they would not use any of the data collected through its Homie for Senate website, where visitors were asked to provide their personal information, including phones and email addresses. So they said, we're not going to use any of this. What we will use, we have to deliver some T-shirts, Homie for Senate T-shirts that they promised for people.
Stop.
So they're like, we have to use that information to get out the T-shirts, but we'll delete everything else. So that's super interesting.
But I also feel
The Attorney General said they broke the law, and this is basically an agreement to not get in trouble.
Well, and I feel like, first of all, I wouldn't do the same thing again the following year. Like, you did it, you killed it, you did your thing.
What you wanted out of it.
I mean, even if you have to delete all this stuff, like people know who Homie is now. I mean, I got to still give him a high five.
No, you got what you wanted out of it. You got the word out that homie.com exists in Arizona, which is what you wanted.
We should get a shirt.
We should. It's going to be a collector's item in like 20 years.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
You know, when this show's
we're gonna reach out to them and try to get
like 20 years,
Homie for Senate shirt.
We'll have the collector's item of
100%.
So I just thought it was interesting. They basically
obviously
they basically, without admitting any wrongdoing, admitted that they broke the law and they're going to stop. So
but I wonder if they knew. You think they knew?
I think they knew that was super in the gray.
Super in the gray.
Sometimes you got to go for it and ask for permission later. It worked out for them because they're not getting in trouble.
Yeah.
And they got
forgiveness. Ask for forgiveness later.
What did I say?
You said ask for permission later.
Ask for permission.
No. It's easier to beg
ask
for forgiveness.
Beg for forgiveness.
Yeah. Then ask for permission. Yeah.
Just break the rules, see what happens. That's what we're promoting here on the Real Word. All right, guys. Really appreciate it. Good show.
Yeah, it was a good one. It? Short and sweet.
Short and sweet. Any comments? You want to send us any DMs like JD did from Arizona?
Yeah,
Arizona was all over this
all
episode.
Over, yeah.
It's just the battlegrounds for real estate.
It's interesting. It's super.
Yeah.
We were there. I feel like we need to go back.
We need to go back. It is where things happen.
What was that place called?
We were in Scottsdale.
The Princess. Remember we went to the Princess of the spa?
Yeah. Nobody wants to hear about that. All right. Really appreciate you guys. Please send us any topics you'd like to talk about, and we'll see you next time. Keep it real.